Welcome one and all here to week number 4 of the College Call of Duty League. My name is Infinity and I'll be hosting and casting tonight's action alongside my good friend... hold on, what's he doing here? He's supposed to be casting COD Mobile, isn't he? No, he's casting Black Ops 7. It's Verdict. How you doing, mate?
Whoa, we can't let the cat out of the bag like that, buddy, man. You're not supposed to introduce me on that level. I'm just kidding. I'm here for it. We're ready for it. It's Black Ops 7. It's CCL. It's week 4. Day number 1, Brody, man, we've got a pretty eventful night on our hands. We've got some winter storms that are happening around the area in the northeast, and where are we happening to head over towards the northeast of this region too. So it's going to be a banger of a night.
Storms are brewing in the northeastern region. Let's hit you guys up with what's happening right now as we head into week number 4, of course. So this is the final week before everything is getting reshuffled. And so all of these matches are super duper important at this point. I guess kind of the thing we need to let you guys know effectively is that as we hit the reshuffle here, the top half of each division will be playing each other moving forward. So you want to get to that top half if you possibly can. And we're going to be spending some time tonight, Verdict, with a couple of teams inside that top half. It's been really interesting so far for sure, but you got to make sure if you're in this final week, if you've got a match left, you got to make sure you take it home.
Oh yeah, you got to make sure you do it. As a matter of fact, we're taking a look at the top half of that Division A. We've got Durham and Lords taking on Nichols College Bison, as we were just talking about, the Northeast region, making it into that top half. These two teams going to be fighting it out to figure out who's going to be on the top side of that bottom portion of the top half. Could be either or. We'll see how it swings. But yeah, still plenty of season left to be played. Still plenty of games left to be played. It's going to be an awesome night to start us off with. And I'm excited to see what these two teams bring to the tables off the rip.
Yeah, for sure. Well, it's worth saying, as always, nobody is eliminated just yet. We've still got a long way to go this season of CCL. Let's start talking about the two teams we've got tonight, though. You said it right. Durham Lords going head-to-head with the Nichols College Bison, which we learned, by the way, we had a conversation. Are the bison extinct? They're not extinct. They are still apparently about, although they're an almost extinct species. Hopefully that does not align with Nichols' chance here in CCL. Both 4-2 this season thus far. Verdict, I got a chance to watch Durham Lords last week versus Rutgers. This is their debut year, 2020. I don't know why I've written 2020 in my list. I have no idea what's going on with that. This is their debut year of CCL. And Durham looked really, really good last week. I got a chance to watch them versus Rutgers. And, you know, as a roster, we've really not really no idea much what to expect out of this roster. I was pretty happy with what I saw for the Durham Lords. They looked phenomenal, albeit with a couple of caveats, a couple of things to iron out. Really love for that roster what we saw last week. For Nichols, though, on the other hand, Verdict, this is another team where we don't really know what to expect from this roster.
Yeah, we got a couple of head-to-head matches between both of these teams going against other teams up in this region. They look pretty similar in the regards to some of the hard points, and you can see the S&D record for Durham. You know, and with these newer teams, that's where you're going to see a lot of these fallouts, or maybe you start to see a little bit of strategies form towards the end of the season. But right now, that's struggling for that game mode as well as the newer game mode and Overload. A lot of work cut out for them. If they're able to take some of these hard points and not finish it off on S&D and Overload, going to be a little bit questionable, but still plenty of time for them to develop and play through. If we're looking at it from a Nichols standpoint, you said it, they're not extinct. Bison are the North American buffalo, I guess. I don't know how that pans out, but yeah, I think when we're taking a look at this matchup, obviously the Search and Destroy and the Overload are going to be the biggest game changers. We'll see if Durham can step it up towards the beginning of this one.
Yeah, for sure. You very briefly mentioned their Overload for Durham Lords. That was their Achilles heel last week. They'll want to improve that coming into this week's action. Speaking of which, have they had a change of setting coming into this week? Let's find out as we look at our best of 5 map set moving forward. And we do have a Scar Overload slap bang in the middle of the series. For those of you guys who didn't get a chance to watch it last week, Durham Lords, they did manage to take down Rutgers 3-1. The one map that they did lose, and I think it's fair to say they kind of chuckled it a little bit, was that Scar Overload. No change of settings here for this matchup.
Yeah, there are rumors of chuckles happening last week. Hopefully they'll clean up whatever they had going on moving into this week. That Scar is going to be impressive. Obviously, if we get to a game 4, which I'm expecting out of this one, we mentioned how close the head-to-head is in regards to the records, but until we get in the game, we're not necessarily going to know how both of these teams are panning out against each other. If we get to that game 4, Blackheart Hardpoint seems to be one of my favorite new maps added to the mix. I enjoy it. I know everybody else enjoys it. We don't see too many exposures. I know we were talking about that in the production meeting before the stream started. Would have loved to seen something like that, but yeah, if we get to that game 4, Blackheart Hardpoint followed up by another Scar, Search and Destroy. Honestly, this one could go the distance, Brody.
Yeah, it should be an interesting one for sure. I think the positive here, I guess, I talked very briefly there about the Scar Overload and that being back at the best of 5 map set for the Durham Lords is going to be that Den Search and Destroy. That was a huge positive for the Durham Lords last week. But as we've said, Nichols being this roster this season, that albeit they played in 2025, they got top 16, we don't know what to expect. They are a wild card for us here on the casting desk. And hopefully for the Durham Lords, they are not a wild card. Kicking things off then, we go into this Colossus hardpoint. This is always a mixy map verdict.
Oh, absolutely. A mixy one indeed. P1 going to be as scrappy as it's going to get. Condi looking for a little bit of a wraparound. Looking to collapse on the outskirts. Is going to be able to find one, but the pistol not going to be able to prove solid. J-Ben's there for the trade. Topside control here for the Durham Lords, and they're going to start with a little bit of an early advantage.
Yeah, all about making sure you got this P2 side of the map early on. I think that's the idea for the Durham Lords at the moment. Don't try and overextend. Don't get too aggressive on towards P1. You can very easily flip out the spawns. Although I will say at the moment, it doesn't really feel like Nichols are putting up that much of a threat in terms of any potential flanking players. They're trying to be a bit more honest for the front of the hard point. And, well, one player has managed to filter through, but that feels like a bit of an overzealous play.
Yeah, there it is. They're going to be stuck out in the middle of the map, too. This transition over to P2 is going to be made here in green. Durham Lords rocking and rolling off the rip. You said it. They didn't overextend. Right now, they're being able to harvest a lot of time off the rip. 2 through the front with the nade. Beautifully landed from Bread. That's going to be 3 down. And only 1 player left to deal with in Condi. And, well, he's just going to have to force himself out. Position going to be given away. P2 locked down for the first 30. It is Durham Lords rocking and rolling so far.
Again, this hill is just so damn difficult to break, and it doesn't really feel that Nichols have done the thing that you generally expect teams to do towards the backline, which is try and break out those back spawns for a flip. They've hit the hill over and over and through the front. Condi doing a good effort there to try and damage the front of the hard point. They might be able to get this one out on trades, but no, Bread will deny. And yeah, that last 10 seconds verdict, I mean, that is kind of a huge effort there from Nichols to try and get that scrap time. But as I said, not really a lot of effort made to try and flip those spawns.
No, not at all. I mean, you go back to it on that P1 start, you try to focus a little bit more on those spawns. Maybe you're able to get a break halfway through. Early payoff there for the boys over in green. Durham Lords rocking all the way through to that P2. Now the P3 setup is going to be split right in the middle. Maddox trying to make something happen at a distance. Has a little bit of help there to throw a shoulder. 3 on the objective, 1 down. Is Drafty able to get the trades on through? Bread out of the equation, but it is still going to be a feed in green, or a hardpoint hill in green, rather. Durham looking to hold on for dear life.
Crossfire's being set up right now by Durham Lords. It feels like Nichols just being a little bit worse off, trying to get anywhere towards the hardpoint. It doesn't help when they're allowing players like the Bread to fly out the hardpoint and garner a lot more real estate than they probably should be. Now they're starting to look towards the rotation as well. And Nichols, they're having a fight tooth and nail for said rotation. Good effort on the 2v2. They'll win that for first right over the next hardpoint, but it is far from locked down. A couple of players spawning out now on the other side, and here comes Bread.
Well, Brett's been doing it all day long, buddy. 13-8 gets the break on the back line, gets the spawns. Now it's forced as Nichols going to have to play it through the front. Durham lose a big gunfight. Knee trying to make something happen through the middle of the map. Is going to be having a little bit of support on the back end. So spawn's still not locked down for Nichols. Are going to have to play it a little cautiously as the gunfights are coming through. Z looking to get the trade, does, and that's going to be all of a 50-50 gunfight to end it off on. Pyro's going to be able to throw his body on the objective, and just like that, nothing happening here for Nichols. It is all Durham as they are locked in, loaded here on this objective here on the P4 set.
I mean, it doesn't feel like the slaying's that heavily in favor of Durham right now. There's only 1 player on Nichols that's really kind of struggling to keep their head above water. And I mean, I'll be perfectly honest, I think their entire body is submerged at that point, and that's Pyro. So a 5-12. This is a returning player from the 2025 season, not having a great go of things at the moment. If he can pick things up, maybe Nichols as a roster can pick things up. Drafty going in for the scrap time. That'll maybe help ever so slightly, but you cannot get forward to get broken here on this P1. At the very least, they've dealt with that flanking player.
Dealt with the flanking player, got the objective locked down. Nichols trying to make something happy here on the reset. They're going to be able to do so here in the P1 objective. 15 seconds in. They've got everything seemingly going well for them. They've got the backlines there for the P2. They've got all the time and more for P1. This might be the turnaround that they needed. 115-36 was the scoreline as we got into this second set of hills. Z on the hop-up's going to be able to find one through the front, but not going to be able to find anything else after that. This one's still a top-up, or toss-up, rather. The spawn's now still in favor of Nichols to see if they can hold on to him, Brody.
One flanking player. Z could flip this entire spawn out right now, and it could spell disaster for Nichols. They've done so well to get back in this game. Z's now putting in the work to flip out the spawns, but all of a sudden, he's on his lonesome here. Can he make the big play? Z around the back line. Not gonna hit the wall jump, goes for the split down, and those spawns will not be flipped out. Nichols on the hole. Durham trying to kick through the front. Let's see if they can break it. We're listening with Durham.
One more inside their blue.
Yeah, they're both weak on time.
Heard. I'm off for you right now. It's money front. Sunny front. Sunny front.
I'm hitting the front, bro. I'm hitting her.
One more blue. Deep.
Heard.
I didn't see him. He's peeked outside.
Blue
That's
dead.
two down.
Funny
You're
here.
by yourself. By
I'm
yourself.
with you.
Yeah, yeah.
Fly front.
Watch the time over deep. Need shot over deep, guys.
Touch.
Throw some
Yeah,
nades.
two on hill and underneath green. I'll satch you.
Guys, throw some sun nades.
One statue right now.
P1 dead.
Statue one shot. Push B4. He's
Dead.
pushing
Like, see, I'm flying with this shit. Like,
Yeah, I'm
do I
flying
have
in.
I'm
to
off
see him?
respawn.
Yo, side door on time.
Heard.
Two in, three in time.
3 in time. Heard.
Yeah, I'm playing new.
Wow. One
Yeah,
more.
just playing
Pushing
against
green right
me.
now. Drafty.
I spawned gold. I
green.
spawned golds.
I hear
Drafty
you.
green. I spawned
we're
B4.
spawning here.
Splits.
Alright.
I feel like a hint of dejection in the voices of Durham Lords at the moment. Their lead has completely evaporated. They were up by 70 points or so, verdict. Now, even Stevens here with Durham in control of new.
Yeah, you hear the comms. There's a lot of passion in it, and obviously they're not having things go their way with a little bit of adversity. How are they handling it? Well, you heard it. It's getting a bit mixy in there. You got to run at it. Drafty now trying to get involved, is able to find a two-piece. The break's going to come through, and that's going to be lighting it up in white for the time. No, indeed. Drafty going to get taken down. Sundown on a distance. Still trying to harvest those spawns on the back end. You can't lose sight of the focus there for this one. 20 seconds still left to grab. You still got to get the back lines for P4.
And you're starting to see the big difference that Drafty and Condi have made towards the back half of this game. We talked about them being, basically even on stat lines on the KD through the first 3 to 4 hard points through that first set of rotations. Now 29 and 19 for Drafty, 27 and 12 for Condi. Things just going from bad to worse here for the Durham Lords. Now down by 15. They have early control, but they do not have these back spawns. They know how pivotal these gunfights are. And Sundown with the positioning catches a player off guard. And those back spawns still unlocked for Nichols.
Oh, Nichols. Will they be able to continue on through with it? Sundown trying to make something happen. Time is being played perfectly. He's going to have to force on through. Takes one, but is not able to win the second gunfight. Condi there for the trade, but the back line's still up for grabs. It's J-Bands and Nichols still locked and loaded there on the back end. Through the front, you got Durham struggling to get those back lines, but they are not struggling to keep this point for the time being.
It has to be said how unorthodox this is. You never really see teams vie for control through the front. Those back spawns are something you generally speaking desire, but they're doing such a good job of it. More kills through for Nichols. Drafty now on a 5-in-a-row spree. 44 and 21 for the man. Nichols are playing out of their minds right now. They seem to have found their groove in this game. And again, I think the fact that they were able to hold that one from the front is a good exemplification for just how well Nichols are playing. Durham, you got to start finding your feet right now.
Oh, buddy. 145 points off of second set of hills. This one has been absolute masterclass on the second set for Nichols. Durham selling a bag. Drafty doing everything he can to hold on for dear life up top. He's got help there from Sundown. The pistol coming out too, buddy. He's making it look easy. Durham selling it out, and Nichols taking every bit of an advantage they can. They're just winning gunfight. I mean, just got a heat check there for Drafty. 38 and 22 feet the man. The trade.
I don't think you're trading Drafty at the moment. The way he's playing is on Amazon, honestly, out of his mind. Maddox is going to come through for a couple of kills, some kind of a relief, finally, for Durham Lords. The good news, I guess, for Durham is that the front of the hill is going to be open, but you have to follow up with the kills. Big kill against Drafty. Now you're going to take the round the back line. There's more kills coming through. All of a sudden, an opportunity for Condi with though back double. And if you're a Maddox and it was a hard point, you can't wait for him to hit the regen. It doesn't matter. Condi is performing miracles inside the hard point at the moment.
Condi able to win a few on the back line. Miracles coming through. Durham looking to pull off a miracle of themselves. They had a massive lead rolling into the P2, or the second set of hills, rather. And right now, they're trying to get every bit of it back here on this P2 setup. Looking pretty solid. Backline's held down. There's the Hellstorm coming through from Drafty, who has been on fire. Electric Pyros now throwing himself in the equation. The break, that's 2 down. Make it 3, almost no. Maddox there for the trade as well with J-Bands. That's going to be Durham holding on for dear life. And might be able to get that lead back in favor of them.
This is huge, and they're always starting to think about the rotation as well. Big battle towards the backline. Maddox will lose it. So next hill should be Nichols early on. I'm curious. I think Drafty has a Hellstorm missile in the back pocket ready to go. That could be pivotal towards control of this hard point. It's a get out of jail free card if they need it. They have to start winning some of these early gunfights as well. So now in a position. It's a good start. That's 3. Oh, not 4 in the feed just yet. That's a way in for Durham.
Waiting for Durham. 3 stacking it. Both in. Here we go. Mano-y-mano. Big gunfight there for Pyros. Able to get some shots on the second player. The contest's going to come through a Z. Looking for some support. Got it. Sundown. Oh, not able to get the shots to land properly there as we do see Drafty and crew back onto the objective. This is going to be a toss-up, though, as we still do have Nichols all over the... Or not Nichols on the objective, but Durham on the objective. It is going to be Condi going to be able to throw a shoulder at it as he's got 3 in sight. Able to take down and get some shots there from Drafty to save him. That is going to be the lead still secured here in green. And Nichols might be able to put this away on this next hill.
Ooh, spawns, hold on. Z and J-Bands have just spawned in towards the backline. Is the read good from Nichols? Yes, it is. Good kill for Darby. Now it comes down to a 1 versus 1. Drafty weak from the initial fight, and he goes straight for the heat check. But J-Bands now with the back spawns. That's everything for Durham. They're in towards the back of the hard point.
They were able to do it to the front earlier. Nichols might be able to do it again. Maddox now going to be forced to play onto the objective. Kills are coming through. It's a sea of white. Condi, Sundown. They might be able to do it. The hold there. Nichols does it. The comeback is completed. Game 1 in the bag. And boy, if you're Durham, you go back to that first set of hills, you thought everything was looking proper, and surely enough, Brody, not the case. Heat check there. Going towards the end, Nichols just turned the jets on and never really looked back.
Man, that is definitely not the way I expected that one to end. If you showed me the scoreline about halfway through that game and then said, hey, listen, this game's gonna end not the way that you think, I would have told you to honestly do one. That is insane. From 115 to 36 deficit all the way to a 250 to 211 victory. What a phenomenal comeback for Nichols College Bison, and I think you really do have to thank a couple of players for that. We'll get to the stat lines here in just a second, but the fact that I want to say we talked a little bit about how one of the players was like 5 and 12 going into the second set verdict, and the rest of the team barely breaking even. Those guys really stepped up in the second half.
Oh, you can tell it too, man. I think the primary focus there was getting those P2 spawns early setup. You mentioned it in that first set of hills. You talked about it from P1, you know, thinking about P2 midway through. And then once we got to that cusp, it was Durham just, I mean, completely overwhelming them off the rip. Those adjustments made in the second half of the game just looked so on point. Nichols looked unstoppable once that freight train started rolling too. And you see a story of some upset and then overcoming adversity. So great start there for Nichols. And we talked about Durham being a newer team into the equation here in CCL. Well, I mean, troubles started here in the hard point. It's not looking like it's going to get much better with the search and destroy gameplay kind of lacking in its in its ability here as of late. Let's see if they can bounce back after a little bit of a sell there.
Yeah, I mean, it does feel like a sell, right? I mean, just so many more opportunities for them to get back in the game, and they were given a lot of rogue spawns as well. I think especially towards the end of that game, there was opportunity for Durham to actually get control of P4, and they did not successfully do so. Here's a look at those stats I was talking about. 50 and 30 for Drafty at the end of that game. Mind you, barely like 10 and 10 or something like that at the end of the first set of rotations on Colossus of all maps. Condi also had a very slow start and ends up at 44 and 20 with 15-3 at some point during that game. Wow. I saw him having having like a really high level streak, and I was like, nah, surely that's just like a COD caster glitch or something. Of course, he can't use it, but 15 is insane.
I would love to say that I caster cursed him and said, hey, this guy might be doing the thing. He might be ramp it up for some streaks, but I didn't even notice it, if I'm being honest with you. 15 in the feed at one, that's crazy. That's illegal. The trades had to have been off the back, so that P4 to P1 reset on the second set of hills. Condi was just not, no one was able to take him down. He was doing crazy things. Draffy started strong, finished strong, a minute 55 on the hill to go along with it too. This is, just an absolute spark of fire coming out of Nichols to start us off in this series. Was looking very abysmal after the first set of hills, and Jesus Christ, second set, like I said, they never really looked in that rearview mirror.
Yeah, and the last thing I'll say about these stats is the 27 OBJ kills for Drafty and the 19 for Condi. Just insane performance out of those boys. Every single kill mattered in that second set. And it matters in the map set, because now that's Nichols on the board in this best of 5. Let's take a look at Den, Search and Destroy then next up in this one. And we can talk a little bit positively, at least, about Durham Lords here, because this is a map that they performed pretty damn well on last week versus Rutgers, will be a very different opponent, it would seem. Of course, both of these teams talked about it coming into this week of action. Both 4-2, both are very evenly matched. I really liked what I saw out of Durham last week on Search and Destroy. I think across the board, one thing we talked about was Z's aggression, but I've got a lot of love for Bread, who really picked up pace in Search and Destroy. I think finished 8-5 in that 6-2 Den S&D victory and a massive 5 spree in the last 5 rounds. But I think the thing is that I loved about Durham in Search and Destroy last week is their adaptability over Rutgers, because what kind of Rutgers was bringing to the table in the middle of the game was, all right, they made small little changes to the gameplay, and once Durham had realized what Rutgers were doing, they adapted to it, they changed their game style around it, and I don't think Rutgers themselves really had much of a response to that kind of gameplay, that kind of adaptability from Durham. If Durham can kind of get the playbook down on what Nichols is going to be doing early on here in the Search and Destroy, they could be right back in this series verdict.
Well, they're going to need it, man. As a matter of fact, as we take a look at it, this is going to be testing the resilience out of a younger team. Obviously, a little bit of a struggle on the end of that hard point. Tried to rally back, didn't happen. This Den, they have to set the pace early on. They have to, like you said, they got to make those minor adjustments throughout. They got to figure out what's going on with Nichols off the rip in order to stop that momentum. Obviously, coming off of a hard point that you should have won. I don't know. I take the first set of hills like I take, the first few rounds in Search and Destroy. If you lose them, it's okay as long as you make those adjustments. So I wouldn't say it was really too much of a sell. I just really thought Nichols outperformed and outpaced towards the end. So we'll give credit where credit is due. We'll see if they can keep that same momentum rolling into it. Obviously, we'd like to see it get to a black card. We'd like to see it get to a scar. But, if Nichols is just going to continue on with that same aggression as they ended off on the Colossus, it's start to see this one be the beginning of the end.
Yeah, we'll see for sure. Den Search and Destroy coming up here in just a second, folks. We're just getting players back into the lobby here in just a moment as we load in for this Search and Destroy. Something I'm curious about here, a conversation point actually that I've been wondering about, obviously in CDL and in rank play specifically, snipers have changed, right? Previously, for those of you guys who didn't know at home, maybe you're not keeping up with the GAs, trust me, I wouldn't blame you, because GAs are incredibly complicated. But the previous GA around sniper rifles was that when they had aim assist, you could only use them, basically you had one player on your team was able to use them, and they were able to use them for 2 lives, which meant if you died twice with a sniper rifle in your hand, you could no longer use it for the remainder of the Search and Destroy. That's now changed in the CDL and in ranked play, in that the aim assist for the sniper rifle is now completely mitigated. It doesn't exist anymore. But on the flip side, you can now use it basically as much as you like. I think it's still, I want to say, 1 player per team can access the sniper rifle, but you can now use it every single round. So, the sniper rifle conversation verdict. I'm not sure how much you've used the sniper rifle, how much you've loved seeing the sniper rifle, but I think it's nice that we've kind of reached a point that we are now like, okay, cool. Aim assist gone. We're now going to see a lot more of the sniper.
I think that's a W for the community. As you mentioned earlier, I come from casting a Call of Duty mobile background. So for me, not seeing snipers in Search and Destroy is just beyond crazy. It's not something that I'm typically accustomed to, but I know how crazy these snipers are and how broken they can be in the right hands. Obviously, mitigating that aim assist is a step in the right direction, and you don't have to worry about changing out after maybe having 2 bad rounds, right? So I think it's a W for your community. I don't know how the players feel about it. Obviously, this is something that they voted for, so it must be good. I'm just going to cross my fingers and pray that it doesn't change anytime soon, because if anybody loves snipers, it's me. It's this guy.
Alrighty, we love snipers because it's always fun to cast over. Hopefully, we get to see more snipes as we do get into this Den Search and Destroy. Listen, we lied to you a little bit. We're not going to be jumping in the Den Search and Destroy just yet because the lobby's restarting here in just a moment. We will be jumping in when that lobby actually fully gets going. Listen, I want to get into the Search and Destroy as much as you guys do. Don't you worry about it. We won't be wasting much more of your time. But we'll talk a little bit more about that hard point while we've got some time here, Verdict. Because, again, that hard point was a pretty interesting start of the series. I didn't know what to expect out of Nichols. I think there's a kind of a lot of, I want to say, research going on early on in the CCL for the first few weeks where we're trying to figure out, all right, cool, who are the good teams, who are the good players, everybody kind of coming into the season with a clean slate, even those that had performed in previous seasons. Of course, Nichols being one of those teams, right? They played in 2025, they got top 16 in the Northeastern region, and they're coming into the season and they're expecting to have better results. I liked what I saw out of Nichols in map number 1. I think the resilience to be down by 100 points or so and be able to make a comeback, that's insane. That's
a lot of confidence, man. That just tells you, like, after you get put to the ringer, we'll say, in the first set of the hills, it's always doable, okay? It's never chalk, chat. You're in a ranked matchup, you're down by 100 points, you know, you're getting geared up for that second set of hills, man. Put those first set behind you and just move on. Obviously, anything can happen, and it helps when you have players like Condi and Drafty on your team. It's them versus the world. Jeez. The moral of the what's the word I'm looking for? The moral of this conversation, or the I'm drawing a blank here. Find you a teammate like Condi. Find you a teammate like Drafty. Those are that's what I'm trying to tell you. If you can't do it on your own, if you're like, I wouldn't say like Rody, but if you're like me and you're hard stuck, just find you a Condi in your life, all right? That's all you got to do.
Alrighty, find you a Condi in your life. That's all you guys need at home. I want somebody to look at me the way that Condi looks at kills in Hardpoint. That's what you were looking for, Verdict. Alrighty, what we're looking for is a start of this Den Search and Destroy. However, I can't seem to find it anywhere. So we're going to go to a quick break. On the other side of this break, we've got Den Search and Destroy. Go get yourselves a cup of tea and a biscuit, because we'll be back after this. Hold on, my eyes hurt. I'm rubbing my eyes so much. I just can barely believe what we've seen in J-Bands. I was close to my J-Bands. Oh my god, what is that?
What the? J-Band's going crazy with the snipes here. We're talking about it being a little, more balanced. Aim assist or not, it's crazy. Sundown able to get one, though, through. And now the 2v4 ensues. J-Bands has been dealt with. Bread holding the irons down the outskirts. Maddox waiting for something to happen there as the stun is going to hit. That is going to be Pyros. And Sundown now trying to retreat and get back to a site. Bomb in hand, so looks like they're covering a little bit of the back end. No! Sundown, what are we doing? Does get the kill on... No, he doesn't. Pyros was there to get the trade.
Pyros has been a bit spot here with the 1 vs 2. Still play split up. At the very least, never mind. J-Bands is there with the sniper rifle. We asked for the snipes, and J-Bands has well and truly delivered. Dude, we were in the S&D for like 5 seconds. J-Bands is just popping heads and ripping them to shreds.
Did I make a mistake and say he died? I didn't say that. That never happened, Chad. Just mix it from the record. This guy is doing everything right now. He is the Condi of this search and destroy. Okay, I'll stop with the glaze on Condi and Drafty. This is Durham's show to run here. The Lords are showing up there with the snipes, baby.
Yeah, listen, shout out to Proj. Proj just told me that the game is lying to us, which of course is something I should expect at this point. It wasn't J-Bands getting the snipes, it was Z, which tracks what we've seen in the past. Z now got the...
I'm not going crazy. It did look like J-Bands had died. Okay, all right.
Yeah, listen, the game lies to you. It doesn't want you to be right. J-Bands is not going to get that first kill. It's actually going to be Z'd on your screens. Second kill coming through elsewhere through the middle of the map, so... Now we're in a 2 vs 4, and those last 2 players are kind of stuck here. They have 0 map control whatsoever. That rock is going down. If they try it through the middle of the map, it is going to be J-Bands that will stop them.
Yeah. He said it. He's already taking shots. Both players stuck right here, trying to get across that threshold. Backline's now going to be trying. This Drafty looking to make something happen through, trying to pave the road to success here on this retake. Is going to get spotted on the initial push. Stuns out. Smoke's out as well. Guns not being able to come through. It is going to be J-Bands able to win that first one in the feed, but I believe that was somebody else because he was in the middle of the map. There's no way he got it all the way over there that quick.
Yeah, again, man, the Codcaster, what's going on with the Codcaster? It's messing with us right now. I don't know why. Either way, it's just S&D. It's just how these things go. Z, I think, still the star of that round, right? You know, gets those opening couple of kills on the bomb site and plays his life inside tin for the second later on in the round. 5-0 now, I believe, off the back of that round because did manage to get out scot-free. And Nichols just struggling to get any traction here early on in this S&D. It is worth saying, though, just like before, this is what happened back on that hard point, right? It was Durham that started off strong. Nichols came back in the second half, so I don't want to count them out. What I would be wary of is Z with this sniper rifle. He is not going to get anything over here, though, because the rest of the action is happening by B.
He does go ahead and swap over to the AR as well, too, so... Life still being played perfection, looking for those streaks to come through. Maddox going to be able to take some first shots on through. The hits over towards the B site. They cleared it out. They've got the bomb plant down. Sundown going to go down along with it. I don't see who got the kill, but nonetheless, it is going to be bomb going down. Questionable. Okay, there it is. Backline Z doing everything. Does get the streak to go along with it. Heat check. Gets the second to follow through. Hello. The Lords have woken up.
Bro, the fact that Z gets that first kill against Rocket when he is being pre-aimed with the sniper rifle, that kind of feels insane enough. This chow is downright egregious. J-Bands, not the one on your screen. It is Z picking up those kills, a couple of extra love taps on the body after the fact as well. Z is letting them know, and I mentioned it before we got into that round, he was close to a Hellstorm missile. Now he has a Hellstorm missile. And things going from bad to worse to disastrous. Word to proper cast. Because Nichols right now, they are in trouble. And they got to start playing as a team. You got to start as 4 hitting something, honestly.
I felt like we had that same conversation in the hard point. Right now it's a different game mode. Search and destroy. J-Band's going to be taken down there in the middle of the map. Or was that Maddox? Looks like in the kill feed it says Maddox. But it is J-Bands, who I agree was goated. But actually it was Z who was sniping. So... Payoff, though, is the trade's not going to come through. There it is, finally. 2 down in favor of Nichols off the rip, so they are going to be able to take the advantage, but the trade's coming through right back in effect, and it's just like, Durham just can't lose right now.
Dude, the fact that Bread's able to walk away with those 2 kills is insane, and it's a good read from Sundown, though. He's read this pretty much perfectly. Can he get both of these kills, though? Could he get some good timing? Might get an audio cue or something. He's here for it.
Oh, you got to win that, bud. That's crazy. A little bit of movement there to come through in the door frame. Not getting stuck on that one. 4 rounds in a row. Durham Lords letting them have the business into this search and destroy. And Nichols not really having an answer for it just yet. Sundown, I believe that is who it was. I'm not sure who actually got the kill, but you can see in the feed they're 6-1. So as we switch sides on through, there's nothing that can, I mean, this is usually what someone says before a disaster happens, but there's nothing that can go wrong for Durham in order for this one to transition and shift momentum so abruptly, right? There's nothing, surely.
I mean, listen, if Brett gets this Hellstorm missile, it's over. You've already got 1 Hellstorm in the mix.
Exactly,
the second
that's
one,
2
I
rounds
feel
right
like,
there,
that's infallible. There's no way you could possibly lose this one. And the aggression from Durham is also being felt. I mean, look at this wrap that he's making already early on in this round. He does not give a single damn right now. He's going to get shut down, though. Picks up 2 before he does. That's going to make this feasible. All down to the man on a donut. It's J-Bands. This is actually J-Bands this time. Time to make an impact, bud.
Now's a better time to do it. 57 seconds on the clock. Hits over towards the A side. J-Band's getting the read there perfectly. Timing could not have gone any better for him if he had just approached that door frame a little sooner. Nonetheless, both players out in the wind. And Drafty and Pyros get the job done there on towards the side. J-Band's now forced to ninja. Okay, no, they're not going to have any of that. J-Band's eating bullets left and right. Needs out 28 seconds. Still plenty of time to make it happen, but, I mean, let's just look at the positioning there from Pulse Plant. It is impeccable.
Spotted by players and gets shut down. Yeah, finally, I think a really good round there for Nichols, to be honest with you. Just slam it through the middle of the map, hope you win the trades. Z only manages to take down a couple of kills before he gets dealt with, and the read's starting to look just a little bit better there for Nichols. I'm not entirely sure if they managed to take Bread down before he got the Hellstorm missile. I don't think he got a frag in that round, yeah, so no second Hellstorm. The disaster has been at the very least subsided for now, not necessarily averted. Nichols on the board, they don't have a second Hellstorm to worry about. Sky starting to look just a tad more blue. We'll see whether or not Nichols can work off the back of that, start to swing some momentum in their favor. B worked out pretty well for them last time. Z, of course, has historically moved over towards that A zone. It is going to be Durham with the bomb in hand. Bread wants to look at that B site. Drafty trying to get control of the middle of the map, though.
Big.
That is a huge, huge first frag to take. Now they're looking for that B control, though.
Okay, it's got to start here. Great round for Nichols off the rip there. J-Band's in the kill feed, though. Is going to be able to find his first blood. Nah, he was actually first blooded. That's going to be Z picking up his 11th kill as the trades do come through. 3v3 in the equation. You got one player on the back line and player number 3 looking to hold down the fort. Push is going to come through. Bomb plant is going to be subsided. There we go. Just going to get a little bit better positioning before we go ahead and tote the rock and put it down. That's going to put 42 seconds on the clock here for Sundown, trying to get some shots on through. Does take down Bread in the mix of that, or Maddox, rather. And here comes the 3v2 retake.
One player on the flank. Condi's the biggest wild card in this play. Bread has to hold this angle, has to have the patience for said play. Oh, and he gets away with the gunfight, brings it down to a 2v2.
Z? Okay, there we go. What? Okay. Was that a 2v3 clutch there? I mean, in my feed, I'm looking at it. I don't know what to believe anymore. I need to hear it out of your mouth.
It was indeed a 2 versus 2, and it's just continued in the same place. I believe this is Z, not J-Bands in the final kill feed again. He has just been the movement master here in this game, constantly in positions that Nichols aren't expecting in a big way. A big reason, I should say, that why they're able to walk away with that one, couple of kills from that tin side. 12-1, and that Hellstorm missile still has not gone off in this search and destroy. There have been many search and destroys verdicts where I've gotten a Hellstorm missile in the back pocket and I just haven't had a chance to use it. This might be one of those situations for Zio. I've got to imagine as soon as they get the call that this bomb isn't going to be going down towards A, that thing's coming down.
Oh, absolutely. Hate it, man. We got to be able to benefit from the roots of our labor. Bread trying to get some shots on through is going to be able to get assist right there. Pyros there for a trade. All of a sudden, a 3v3 ensues as the bomb's going to be left back into the backside of the spawn. They're going to be trying to make a move to the middle of the map here. Well, as long as J-Bands is holding this lane down, there's not really going to be an answer for it just yet. They're still going to try to push the agenda here, Infinity.
Yeah, they know what these players are. That's the biggest issue. J-Bands, no. Don't do it. He was thinking about it. He was thinking about going for the quick shank. Not just yet. 30 seconds, though, on the board. Time of the essence. That nade is going to change things drastically.
Nichols. Durham trying to put him away here. In this instant, bomb's going to go down. 20 seconds going to be pushed up. Sundown going to be able to get the job done. Z, perfect timing. Look at that. Couldn't have gone any better. Bomb's not going to have to be collected. And it's going to get dropped almost instantly there. No second guesses. Drafty left in a 1v1. No! Whoa! Did he? Oh, he avoided the bomb plant and went straight for the kill. That's ballsy.
I mean, Z felt like he played that one pretty much perfectly, right? I mean, he made the wraparound. Calmed it I mean, you never know where the player's going to go off the back of the bomb plant, right? You do not know for sure. So you're making a 50-50 call on whether or not you're going to catch the player off guard. Got the worst timing imaginable on the hit around the painting. Drafty hits it at the exact time that he can catch C off guard. If he is a second later or earlier, there is a real chance that Z wins that 1 versus 2 because he plays that one pretty much perfectly aside from the final execution that he cannot carry through. Regardless, big round, though, to survive because now there is a Hellstorm missile down and out. Durham do not have that advantage to work with. I think Durham want to get this one done. They are going straight, fast, and aggressive towards A.
Yeah, really. There's no defense here to hold them. Pyros up top now. Hit's already through. They've already got the back lines covered, too. Bomb's going to go down along with it. 45 seconds here for the retake. This is for the map. We'll see if Durham can get the job done. Nades out. Bread's down. Big kills there. Trades coming through. Condi making it good for the 2-piece. Pyros able to take one down as well. Nichols have been flawless through this, and they are going to continue to do so as the bomb's going to get defused, and they're going to live to see another round. I got a question, though. Did the bomb go down the round previous, or did he just stop planting and take the chow?
The bomb went down. I'm fairly certain the bomb went down.
All right. I'm gonna have to go back and look at it.
Yeah,
Just
big
he
round again.
played it like a maniac there.
Yeah, I mean, these guys are playing fast at the moment. I think there's a lot of aggression. I think especially for Durham, right? They just want to get this one done. They played that pretty well. You just try and get 4 players on towards the site, get that rock down as quickly as possible, and hope for the best. Not to be. Nichols, couple of rounds on the bounce now. Streak starting to put together, especially for Condi. It's worth saying, by the way, this is the Streakmeister himself. Went on 15 in a row in the hard point. We're probably not expecting that through these last search and destroy rounds, but still, if anybody can pull them back from the brink, it is Condi for sure. Mid-map has been everything. Bread taking him down would be huge. They're putting a lot of pressure. At the very least, they're going to box Bread back and towards the deck side, and that's going to force the out position as well. Drafty might be ready for this.
Ready or not, here he comes. There it is, Drafty. You said it. Positioned perfectly. Condi, I mean, literally a sentry gun in the middle of the map. Nobody shall pass any which way in front of him. He is getting tags on you. J-Band's on the back lines here on towards this B site. Bomb's made its way over. Drafty, Pyros, and Sundown getting the bomb down as we speak. J-Band's not able to prevent that from happening or able to get any shots there as the exit's going to be clean. Pyros going to fall in the back line. Hello? J-Band's now ready for the hit. Here it comes.
That was a bit of a weird reposition there from Condi. Actually gives up a lot in the middle of the map, and now he goes down himself. Lose Drafty in a 1 versus 3. First kill through. 25 seconds. There's time for them to pull if it's 2 versus 1. Drafty down to 59 to the pistol. Surely not for the 1 versus 1. Drafty, you maniac! Oh my god. Drafty for a 1v3 keeps Nichols in this S&D.
Does he get the streak there too? I believe he was on 4. He gets the 1v3. That's illegal right there, buddy. They're gonna rewatch that VOD and be like, what the hell happened? We were up 5-1 in this round. It should have been, but it wasn't. We're tied, almost tied. We're going into round 10, and the streak was earned there from Drafty. So wow. I don't know how they do it around here, but clip it, Chad. Holy hell.
Clip it, ship it.
Clip it, ship it.
Drafty has had a hell of a game, and he's going to continue it as well. Team shots along Condi to pick up that first blood. And Durham, I mean, they're scared. They are terrified right now. They are trying to reposition their way through these early rounds. No longer are they certain, because last round they were certain. They tried to get that rock down early on. They got punished for it. This time, they're trying to think about everything, and I think that might be adding an element of uncertainty here to the play. Here comes that Hellstorm.
Drafty calling it here early. They gotta go ahead and pin them back on through to the back lines there in the P2 site. Is it gonna find anything? It does. He bends the bullet there, is able to find 1. And that leaves 2 here for Durham. They are quaking in their boots. Brody.
Condi on the hunt for the last 2 kills. Should get 1 for free. The second as well. Why not? Buy 1, get 1 free. Nichols are putting up offers left, right, and center. This is incredible, folks. Peel back your eyelids, because this is something you do not want to miss. We're going around 11, and Durham Lords, any traction that they had, the wheels have come off the cart for sure.
Yeah, if you're here supporting Durham, I suggest you close your eyes here for this last round. It has been a shaky past 4.5, 5 rounds that we've seen. This is just, I mean, disgusting. 5-5 tied. This is it, round 11. Will we see this series tied up going into the overload, or will we see a lopsided 2-0 back-to-back comebacks for the Nichols? Bison, nade shots on through. Condi trying to seal on in. It is going to find 1 in Bread, and that is going to be the opener going in favor of Nichols. Durham going from bad to worse here in this opener.
Yeah, no mid-map control either. And that means they're not able to stop that bomb going down through B. Bread has to hold this position. I think, crucially, really needs to find a way to trade things out here back to a 3 versus 3, but he's continuing to lose real estate. Condi now with the challenge. Bread down to 49. Has the assistance from Z on the cross. Condi can't push this, but Condi's done his job. He's gotten that mid-map real estate now. He's offering up options to the rest of Nichols' roster. The issue is, you haven't really done much in the way of taking any control over a B. J-Bands is still big chilling on the site, can still blow this up.
Could, but will he? We'll see. Making a lot of noise on the outskirts. Pyro's taking up a lot of room here on the map. Now J-Band's going to be forced on back. Bomb's going to be made way through. Drafty going to be able to find 1 in the feet. J-Band's able to get the trade. Bombs still not down as of yet, and this could be the timing going in favor. J-Ban's blowing it all up. Sundown now left in a little bit of a... Oh, it's going to get pushed at my AB right there, boys. Okay, all right, we're back. It's a tied series. That one didn't get sold. They came back. That's a lot of resilience. Coming off of a sold hard point, now that I'm looking back at the rearview mirror, that might have been a sell, because this search and destroy got awfully dicey when it could have been pretty much contained off the rip.
Yeah, it is a seller's market for sure tonight, isn't it? None of that buying nonsense. Durham trying to give away these maps for free, it feels like. Look at the start coming out from Durham, by the way. 4-0 start in that search and destroy. A phenomenal performance to kick things off. And then it all just started to go a little bit tipsy-turvy. They had almost 2 Hellstorm missiles on the board. It felt like Durham were nigh untouchable. And then Nichols came out of nowhere and started to build some momentum. Round after round after round. They started to read what Durham were putting down. They started to figure out, okay, cool, we take mid-map control. Durham not able to breathe. And there was clutch after clutch as well on those back 4 rounds that Nichols were able to take away. And let's be honest about it as well. They should have won that round 11. They get that rock down and they cover a little bit better on B. They play a little bit better as a team instead of trying to pressure around the middle of the map a little bit more. And that is a round for Nichols for sure. They'll be frustrated this isn't 2-0 right now.
Oh, if you're J-Band, you're jumping in your shoes right now, because not only do you get the perfect timing in order to stop that bomb plant from going through, but it's a collapse that happens right in front of you, and you play your life to the pretty much perfection in order to do so. So good reads on him. Doesn't get too aggressive off the rip. Waits patiently for that player to go ahead and try and get the job done by getting the bomb planted. And surely enough, the fruits of his endeavor. Patience is a virtue, ladies and gentlemen. And it only took 10 rounds for us to find out that Durham did have what it took in the tank to get the job done. Wow, I was thinking we were going to see 2 train wrecks back-to-back in my debut here for CCL. Thank God Durham got their wits about him.
Yeah, I honestly just watched the back, obviously. The inadvisable thing, of course, is to have the Twitch tab open at the same time as your castle. I watched it back, and Sundown literally turned at the wrong time. He had no reason to be watching the mid-map alongside a teammate in the middle of the map. If he was watching over his teammate that was planting the bomb, it would have been their round, and we would be 2-0 right now, but that is not the case. We see things tied up here at 1-1. Let's show you guys the stats at the end of that game. Talk about the biggest stars of the entire damn thing. Z finishes 15-5, although it should be said, I feel like the vast majority of those kills came from the early game. Like
11. Yeah,
pretty
11
much all
did.
of them.
He had 13 going into the last round, right? Picks up those last 2. That's huge in the last round when you're needed the most. But you got to be consistent all throughout it. Hard start, 11 kills off the rip through the first 5 rounds. Crazy, but I mean, when it mattered the most, J-Ban's got the. I mean, it doesn't matter if you went 1 and 10. I mean, we'll talk about that, right? It's kind of a crazy stat line, and the only kill that you got was the biggest kill on the map for that time, right? So everybody's kills coming through, contributing for the squad. Even that 1 in 10, you look at it from that perspective, and I read in chat, J-Ban's goated, man. Well, the spectator client lied early on. It was Z who was goated off the rip.
Yeah, J-Bands did not have a good go of things whatsoever. 1 and 10 for sure. Brad, I will say, doing what he was doing previously, he did this last week on Den Search and Destroy as well, where he had a really slow start to the S&D and started to streak out towards the back half of said map. And that means that Durham will clutch up in around 11 in a map that you arguably should not have needed to clutch up on. No sale today. We will see this series tied up at 1-1. Next up, we go to Scar Overload, and this is a bit of a query, I think, for me. I think, you often wonder, all right, how much effort are these teams in CCL putting into these games? Are they sitting there scrimming? Are they VOD reviewing? And I think this is one of those maps, I think specifically from last week with Durham and Rutgers, where I need to have seen Durham look back at that map, figure out where they went wrong, and fix it for this week, because that map loss was 110% their fault. They just could not get anything going together whatsoever. And we actually did speak to Z very briefly about that in the post-match interview from last week's matchup versus Rutgers, because of course it felt like a blemish on what was otherwise a pretty perfect series for that Durham roster. We asked him, what went wrong? Why did you manage to lose that map in the way that you did? And he was just talking about, look, things just were not working out for it them whatsoever. You know, they were not playing as a team, they weren't setting up properly, and I think more than anything, they just were not finding the frag. So if they can fix things here on Scar Overload, they will find a way back in the series. Honestly, I'll be honest, Verdict, at this point, my issue is that they'll go up like 4-0 here. They'll dominate the first half and still end up losing.
You know what? I'm just going to shut my pie hole because literally the moment that I said nothing can go wrong for this Durham roster, we end up in a round 11 where it's tied 5-5 versus it being like a 6-1 victory, right? Maybe just like one of those toss-up rounds that go in favor of Nichols instead. No, I opened my mouth and surely enough, I spoke it into existence. Surely we won't see them troll here on this one. Am I doing the thing? You know, is this another one of those CDM, you know, moments where, you know, nothing can go wrong here again? You know, they go up 4-0 and Jesus Christ, everyone in chat's like, what the...
No, I feel like you're listen. We're not caster cursing here. We don't have that power at this point. To be honest with you, you know, we're not that important in the grand scheme of things. Honestly, I don't know if it's possible to caster curse Durham because they're just so unpredictable. After what the way this series is broken down so far, I kind of I wish we did have a post-match interview with somebody on Durham if they win this series. Because boy, oh boy, I got to know what the hell was going on that Cross's hard point and what the hell was going on in their heads after they were 4-0 up in Search and Destroy, had to go to round 11. It's been a weird series for sure. We're about to get to the halfway point of this best of 5, folks. Scar Overload again. I mentioned it very briefly. If you weren't here last week for CCL, you didn't get to see Rutgers take this map off of Durham. Have they learned from their errors? That's the question for me. I would like to see it. I think they know they were disappointed with their performance here on Scar Overload last week. You gotta make sure that you get things right this week.
Yeah, almost had 2 disappointments in a row here to start off this series as well. That's not the case. They reel it back in. They catch their breath. This is where they catch their footing. This is where they take their strides. Durham, you're on deck, baby. Let's get it locked and loaded here for the overload. Can't afford any of those trolls. Aziz taking top control there. Connie going to be able to take some shots on through his kills for kills we go. Middle of the map now. Bread trying to snatch it and run. Does get the EMP, is going to be forcing towards the left side of the map.
EMP device in hand. Problem is you've not really got any teammates to work with, so Bread is kind of stuck in no man's land. The pistol's pretty potent though, so you might be able to hold his own for now, especially with teammates in the middle of that position to potentially do something, but gets double chowed. He's now done. You're starting to lose teammates as well. This is actually a bit of a stressful moment here. You've got 3 players on the EMP making their way towards A. Nichols are getting the players set up.
Oh, yeah, they are. They've got the front lines pushed up. They're going to lose both of those players as soon as we say that. So off the respawn, it is going to be Durham going to be able to take the man advantage now as Connie's going to call the audible. It's the bottom side of the mini-map, as you can see. That's where the focus is going to be at. Connie trying to get something rolling through is not going to have any help there as both of those players from Nichols are going to be taken down. Now going to be forced to back on through.
Condi got a lot to do at the moment. He's the tip of the spear here with this Jaeger, by the way. I'm kind of surprised that he's the one with the EMP. Oh my god, no. Condi. He's got family. Condi. Oh,
okay.
No! Okay. I mean, it was embarrassment, but not for the player on the other side. Condi gets pants there in the middle of the map. Now, though, Nichols trying to put some pressure through the middle of the map here. This is big for them. You have to make sure that you deal with all potential players that could be trying to cause some issues for you behind you.
Could be indeed. Reset coming through for the EMP. Bison going to be left through. Big gunfight there for Condi, able to reel it back in. You said he's the tip of the spear. He can't be the player, obviously, who's going to be picking up the EMP and running with it when his gun is just as valuable right there. 6-2 for the stat line to start us off. 3 streak is going to get shut down. The ball is going to be collected in the middle of the map, but it's going to be instantly dropped. So no map control for either team. It's just pretty much 50-50 gunfights that we're taking through. And we'll see now the original strategy coming through for Durham is they're going to be able to pick that bomb up and head over towards. They got a player lane through, but it is Connie who's going to be able to, Pyros rather, who's going to be able to drop him. Connie going to be able to get your EMP player. And that's pretty much going to be the end of that one.
Yeah, big kills coming through from Drafty. Kind of feels like there's a bit of a tug of war going on right now around this field there, around side the plane. Both teams, well, I should say neither teams feel comfortable pushing through the motel for that blue side. Nobody wants to go to B just yet, and this is a bit of a struggle, I think, for Durham Lords. Drafty, no. Drafty! Oh, denied deferred. That would have been big, but no. Now we're back towards that tug of war. It's time for Durham to try and get through that plane side.
Yeah, Durham's trying to hit through the plane side. Nichols now trying to defend. Let's go ahead and hop in for a quick listen in to see how they handle the resilience.
Yeah,
I'm grabbing it going left. Okay, pushing mid then. Mid cut, mid cut.
Yeah, I'm trying.
Yo, P1's Adam. You're missing
No,
Adam,
no.
P1, okay? Really low.
Okay, you're on, you're on.
Let's close to me, P2.
Missing 1P2, 1P2.
Top P2.
Mid, got one.
Yeah,
Close,
you're
close, close,
like
very
reds.
close. Nice, good
Three.
three. One on flank, he's on flank.
Bro, oh, you're flank, challenge, please. Please turn around and kill him.
I'm spawning P1.
Right there.
I'm up P1, I'm up
Great
P1.
team. Oh, bullet
Hitting,
dead.
yep. Just playing patient.
Nigger deep.
Pushing with Gunny.
Yo, top.
Deep dead.
He's on heady. I'm diving it. Got it.
Counting the spawners.
He's there.
Got
What
him.
are you doing? Nice.
Two on spawn
Nice.
deep.
Holding B.
Good, dude. Yeah, we have to shift right here.
Top green.
Hang on, I'm gonna nade over. Give me a
One
second.
P3 low.
Take space.
There we go, P3.
And perfect timing there as we just see Nichols collect and scoop and score. Great comms there coming through. They're able to flush that back line. I'll go along with it, Brody, and a 1-0 lead in favor of them.
Nichols looking pretty good at the moment. They finally managed to break through the defensive line that's been haunting them for the longest period of time. It should be said, they're on the, what generally speaking is considered the worst side of the map right now. The fact they're able to do what they're doing is super concerning for Durham, and they are going to knock at the door once again. Durham have totally turtled up. They are so scared at the moment of taking any space whatsoever. Drafty is not. You'll take a 2 for 2, though. It keeps you in the mix.
It does indeed. Players off the respawn now trying to prevent this second point from coming through. 15 seconds on the clock. Bomb's made its way through, or ball rather is going to get shut down at the 1-yard line. Drafty trying to pick up the slack. Oh, get some help from his teammate and is going to... No! What? Is shut down. That is going to end the half there. No, it's an extension, though. And, well, what a great defense there for the side of Durham, as they're going to be able to stop that one. There it goes. Overtime. Or, I'm sorry, halftime coming through as we did see time expire. What a way to shut down that one. That could have been a 2-0 lead in favor of Nichols, and they're going to look back on that one, man. Drafty had the scoop and score mentality, but just couldn't get across the line of scrimmage.
Yeah, dude, his body went flying. I don't know what was going on there. Like, his body got, like, slingshotted into, like, I don't know, exposure or something like that. I don't know where that is actually on the globe. I don't know where the scar is located on planet Earth, but someone in chat will tell me exactly where scar is located. I never pay attention to the actual locations of these things. Either way, big round for Nichols. Again, I mentioned it very briefly there. The fact that Durham were on the better side of the map and didn't get a single overload through is concerning, to say the least. Nichols on the other side will be very happy with a 1-0 start. They're looking to try and get some early aggression here, and that is the start you wanted to see. Take some space, get some kills, and get something moving with this overload.
Oh, everything's happening so quickly here. Off the respawns, 3 trying to prevent this from coming through. It is Drafty with a 3-piece of his own. Fred. Oh, yeah, surely not going to happen there. He's going to have to take down the man himself, and Pyros is going to be able to get the trade on through. That's going to prevent the score from coming in. Maddox off the respawn now, going to get plowed on as J-Bands trying to make something happen through the middle of the map. Pyros going to be able to pick up the slack. So off the respawn they go as a full wipe. Nichols now trying to push the agenda.
Surely not. Pyros trying to get it done with a pistol. Yes, he does. Oh, no. Things not looking hot, is it, for Durham? They get 3 down off the start. Drafty denies it with a 3-piece off his own. And what could have been a 1-1 situation very quickly turns an even more advantageous one for Nichols, and they still have threats to deal with inside blue. This is the big issue. Your players push forward, being constant nuisances. Nade over the top will stop it for the moment. Drafty finally gets shut down off the spree, but still, unless you deal with everybody inside blue, you cannot move up. Fortunately enough, they have finally doing that. So, bit of breathing space here for Durham. They get rid of everybody from blue, but they got to get through some kind of area of the map because they got nothing right now.
Yeah, and you said breathing room. You saw the spawns light up in white at the top left side of the screen. It's just very unfortunate positioning for the bomb. Now, Durham trying to make the best of a bad situation. Nichols looking to continue to assert their dominance. It is massive feeds coming through. It is going to be the player in the top blue going to be dealt with, so hold the phones. Durham still might have a little bit of a lifeline as they do let the bomb reset, or the ball reset, rather. Might be a better positioning, but it's at the top side of the mini-map, and you can already see it. It's Nichols all over it.
And Nichols are happy with this. Status quo can remain. This static as they like at this point. You'll take one-for-one trades. You'll take, well, pretty much consistent trades as long as you're the ones making movements up the map and making the situation more untenable for Durham. Z doing a good job at keeping Nichols well beyond arm's reach. They're trying to get through. Not happened just yet. Drafty continues on his reign of terror. Again, you're just doing everything you can to chip away at that front line for Nichols, and not really a lot is happening. This is a big flank from Z. He needs to try and get some kind of breathing room towards their base.
He's influence the spawns as much as he can is going to get stunned and taken down, so a little bit of map control that is now removed, as the top side of the map and the top side of this building is where we're going to see the action. Ball's going to be held on through. Pyro's going to be able to collect it and get the kill to go along with it. This is just continuing to get worse and worse here for Durham. It has been a battle of attrition, and unfortunately not able to do it on the quote-unquote bad side of the map for themselves.
Again, just this constant defense for Nichols is so difficult. Durham to work through. They are trying their darndest, and they're actually doing the right things as well. You can see it. Like, look at Bread's positioning right now through the middle of the map. He's trying to create some space through that mid-map. You've got to get at least 2 kills here. Z tried it previously as well. He could only find a double and immediately got shut up after that, with the players respawning consistently in the back line. And there's those get out of jail free cards as well. You can see right now Pyros has a Hellstorm missile in the back pocket ready to go. Gets shut down moving forward. But you're fine with this. You're going to continue to spawn on that field side. You're going to continue to replenish your forces, and you're going to continue to renew your control over the EMP device. With just over 70 seconds on the clock here, things have got to change for Durham right now.
Yeah, it's got to happen here. Somehow they got to be able to get the kills as well as force them spawning towards that B site. And, well, Drafty, he said, hey, if you guys are just going to drag your feet, I'll make a decision for you. Picks up the EMP, is going to get shut down nonetheless. 50 seconds left to go here as map control is where the focus is going to be at for Durham. And a big 2-piece there from Z might be able to influence it. However, is going to get shut down on the transition. Nichols continuing to, again, assert their dominance as well as maintain complete map control as well as EMP control. This one not looking likely here for Durham.
30 seconds to do something. I'm not going to lie, folks, this might be the most monotonous game of Overload you probably have seen in Black Ops 7 so far. This EMP device has barely moved from the plane. Finally, one last hurrah coming through from Nichols as they try to make this a 3-0 game, and they will try their darndest to do so. Condi shouldering left, right, good night. Can he get the pistol kill? No, he cannot. And these final wave of kills will come through for Durham, but it is over regardless of what happens here. Nichols stomp their way through Durham in what can only be described as the most boring piece of entertainment since the Lord of the Rings trilogy. 2-0 is Nichols as they take that overload.
I know we were talking about hot takes earlier, but wow, you just going straight for the jugular? Was it that bad, my guy? Okay. I don't necessarily know how the people at home are going to feel about that reference, but we'll take it. 2-0 victory there leads us to a 2-1 series lead. Nichols back in the driver's seat. Durham Lords on the chopping block here for the next map. Blackheart, Hardpoint could be in the line. However, see how they can bounce back. Obviously, they've had their share of tragedy throughout this matchup so far. Does it end here, though?
Yeah, I don't know, dude. That is a difficult game to break down, if I'm being perfectly clear with you guys. Because it just felt like there were a couple of opportunities there for Durham to do something a little bit different. I kind of briefly mentioned it, right? With Z and Bread, I think, were the players that were the ones trying to make these flanks happen, try something a little bit different through the middle of the map. But for the most part, that entire play was just them, you know, butting heads against the plane, and Nichols were like, okay, we're 2-0 up. We're just going to sit here and we're just going to park the bus around the EMP device. It's a tale as old as time, or at least as old as Overload has been in the competitive rotation, which is since the start of Black Ops 7. So, yeah, it feels like Durham didn't really try all that much to change up the strategy. What happens when you butt your head against the wall over and over again? Eventually, you're going to get a concussion, and that's what happened with Durham in that game.
Oh, I thought you were going to go the other route, like you were going to bust it open. And you know, obviously, that's what happened to that one. You bust open and get that first score on the bad side of the map. Nichols able to snag one, almost able to snag a second, too, to go along with it. So that just kind of tell you, maybe we revamped the strategies there. I felt like it was, you know, as you mentioned, a lot of routes being taken from Z and Bread. maybe we try to take advantage and snag that site over towards the top of the map, to where you can control the map like, you know, Nichols did once they got the flip. Maybe you try to influence those spawns in that regard. I don't know. They're going to go back and rewatch it, and somebody's probably going to fall asleep because, like you said, it was the most boring game of Overload. But there's going to be some conversations that are going to need to be had. Either A, you're gonna clean up your act on the good side of the map, or B, we're just not going to play it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what to tell you guys. Listen, we try our darndest here at CCL to make the games as interesting and as entertaining as possible. But when it is literally just a tug of war, things can be, you know, monotonous, we'll say. Milquetoast, I think is the word that I would use to describe that game of Overload. Anyway, we're going to get past it because we've got more exciting things on the way. We've got a map number 4 here in just a second, folks, and we're not going to make you wait that long for it because just like Colossus, Blackheart is an absolute sluggerfest of everyone running at each other. It's like Bacage, but somehow even faster. I don't know if that's even true when I say it, but Blackheart's a really small map. It's SMG heaven. I absolutely love playing on Blackheart for that very purpose, and just like Colossus, you are never going to be far from the action. And just like Colossus, hopefully Durham don't go up by a massive amount and lose this game.
Are we doing that thing again where we say things that could happen, and then, you know, if it does happen, it's like, oh, we cursed it, or okay, no, we're not doing that. All right, never mind. There's no stick. There's no script. I didn't get it, at least. This is my first day on the job. Obviously, if I did, I didn't read it because I'm just as clueless as some of you guys in chat. But nonetheless, we're gonna go ahead and hop into the action. It is going to be, I mean, fly at everything. Take your gunny, trust, live and die by it. As we do see the first opener going to go in favor of Durham Lords, taking the advantage off the rip.
Yeah, Durham Lords in early control of the hard point here for the moment. Good read as well on towards a player. That's Maddox, who tried to take down Condi early on, but Condi, immediate flip of the spawns, and that is such a beautiful route to take right off the map, right? You lose those opening wave gunfights. You can find yourselves in deep waters very early on. Condi makes a wrap through, finds the first kill through P4, and then immediately gets the second for those spawn flips. It's something that Maddox is now trying to do right back to the opposition. Nowhere near as successful, though.
Yep, sniffed out on the objective. 10 seconds left to go. It is going to be Nichols lining up the feed, lighting up the objective as well. Maddox now trying to push himself towards the middle of the map, instantly shut down. Condi picking up the slack here in this one, as he did get the God tier wrap on towards that first to secure the backside spawns. Now it's all about Z, who's going to be sniffed out. As you know, there's 2 in the vicinity. Bread going to be in the objective. Gunshot's going to be connecting. Condi going to be able to take down one, but is going to be forced to play his life.
Condi trying to do so. Has managed to do so. Perfect play for Condi there, so the rest of the team are good. So Nichols, they fought so hard for early control of this hard point. They now have it. Rogue Spawn comes through though for Z, and all of a sudden Condi's going to be left up isolated here for the moment. Good coverage on the cross from Drafty. And 23 seconds left. You're going to start to consider here whether or not you do want to keep on hitting this over and over again. You've already invested a couple of players in towards the time. So Condi is just fighting for the spree now. Already got the Hellstorm missile, wall jumping all over the option. I've not seen that before. Condi getting in all kinds of spots. Doesn't matter. He gets the help. And that is a solid hill for Nichols. All the way from that early spawn break to the hole. What a great hill for not just them, but specifically for Drafty and Condi.
Oh, Condi. Got tier wrap, secures the spawns, gets the objective from beginning to end. Massive. Now it's a little bit of shoes on the other foot. Let's see if Sundown can do the same thing here. Nichols up 63-35. Break not looking likely for the time being. Drafty trying to force anybody and everybody out as the Hellstorm does come through. Z gets absolutely devoured by it. It's going to be able to open up a little bit of tension to the front line, but the pressure is going to be dealt with. Brad and crew going to be able to line them up and knock them down. That's a complete wipe.
Durham in control here for the moment, or yeah, it is Durham. My brain's still working with the colors here for a second, folks. Sorry, I'm just, listen, it's late at night. Sometimes you've got to give me a little bit of leeway here. Regardless, we look over towards the next hard point, and Bread for Durham is vying for those early spawns. He's going to fall So next up for the back hit will be Z. I'm kind of surprised that Nichols aren't that reactive to the fact that somebody might be in the back line, because Z is about to give them an almighty fright. He's done exactly that. Can he produce any more though? No, shut down. And that's that initial here. Still not locked down just yet, because Durham, they are knocking around the front.
Oh, they are indeed, Bread. Trying to maximize on the timing, but is not going to be able to do so. Drafting crew going to be able to continue on with their lead and then some. Spawn's locked down, Hill's locked down, 30 seconds left to go. We're going to continue to throw bodies at it, because why not? Because it's Blackheart, for Christ's sakes. You got to hop up. Advantage. It is still going to be 3 players left up top, and well, Z's going to be the last player on this side of the map for his squad. Back to the spawn they go.
TK comes through. It's not going to matter that much in the grand scheme of things. That is a pretty solid hold for Nichols. Now find themselves in a pretty solid hold, I think, in the game overall. 50 points to the good, but we saw how that worked out for Durham back in map number 1. We look towards the new kill. It's a 3-for-1 trade to Durham. Should be the first team in early control, and they've got players watching this long wrap through. It is a ballsy call for Nichols, but it has been read. Not enough for a frag, though.
Sundown. Last player on this side of the map. No, they're going to be able to secure the spawn. Playing it through the front is going to be Durham. They're going to be able to sniff out that one. Bread is going to be able to secure the back lines, though, as Durham still locked and loaded here on this objective. Playing it through the front is going to be where we see the side of Nichols. Needs out Bread. Going to be forced to back on through, and, well, he's got no real reason to push on up. J-Band's not going to be able to win the gunfight, but the, trades are there. And should be, as we do see an unoccupied hill for the time being. Pyro's trying to throw his body at it, and last 10 seconds getting very scrappy.
This is that big hill coming through for Nichols. We talked about them being, 50 points down? Or for Durham, excuse me, we talked about them being 50 points down. The fact that they managed to hold on towards this time is huge. Bread! Oh my god, this bread's not stale! It is very fresh. Comes in for 3 through the middle of the map, and that's early control. Bread not done on this reign of terror. Nope, no more to be done for Bread. But that is a brilliant way in towards the hard point. Maddox trying to fight back, and it's actually going to be Condi on the other side. If Bread goes off, Condi will match that energy. And now it will be Nichols for control over a P1. Durham at the moment, I think, just vying for that spawn flip.
Oh, absolutely. Very mixy. Blackheart indeed here on this 4th map of the series. Looking neck and neck. Lead's going to be transferred back through. The green light's going to be called. That is going to be spawns for the team in green. Nichols going to be able to continue with their dominance here on this P2 objective. We'll see as things are starting to get focused. Bread trying to make a little bit of a route. Might make a little bit of noise. One. Oh, baby, Bread. You said it. It's not stale. It is fresh.
Bread is on 1 right now. This is the 2nd consecutive hardpoint that he's got early control over for his team. He is really trying to drag his team kicking and screaming towards a potential game number 5 here, but they've got to fight for those back spawns, and Nichols, they know it. They are really pressuring for a back spawn flip. Durham, they're going to have to adjust all their forces. That spawn flip is now starting to come through. Split's actually a couple of players spawning out, so you've got Sundown and Pyrus towards the back here, but they're doing really nothing besides just kind of drawing the attention away. Sundown draws a couple of kills. Is that enough now for Drafty and Condi?
Oh, Condi, if anybody can do it, it's him. No, it's going to be the nade shot there for, or Drafty rather, from a distance. That's going to be a break with 20 seconds left to profit off of. Persistent is Nichols as they do finally get the break, and that's going to be the lead transferred back in him. Is it going to be... I'll let you take that one as a player. If you're looking at it from that perspective, is it worth giving that flip off?
Yeah, I mean, listen, at this point, it's kind of an interesting conversation. You don't want to flip towards the last few moments of that hard point, because obviously, there's only 15 seconds or so left of time. It's a bit of an awkward situation, but still, I think for sure, just making sure you rotate properly here towards the back half of this hard point is everything, and they have done exactly that. You're looking over towards the next hard point in Nichols. They are here. They're also getting the kills in favor. Combined 7 spree between Condi and Pyros. Pyros, by the way, who did not have a good map number 1, he is showing up to this game at 18 and 17.
Absolutely. Oh, baby, he's continuing to go through with full wipe there as the spawns locked down. Nichols looking to get over that 200 threshold. They should surely be able to do so with the last 20 seconds up for grabs, and not a single contest in sight. Sundown even trying to get a little bit of double dipping in. They're trying to get the backside spawns for a new as well. Break finally does come through. Not quite going to be there for 200, but 198. It's semantics at this point. We'll get geared up for the P4 rotation now as it is locked down for Nichols. They could very well end it here.
Drafty's trying through the middle of the map. Big kills being made. This is an opportunity now for Nichols in Durham. They have to go a long way to try and hit this one through the flank. They're just going to try and brute force their way through the front. Right now, it's just going to be Conde isolated. Sundown comes back to help his teammate. He's not going to be able to. So they have broken their way through the front. They have flipped the spawns out. And this is still a lot of time worth fighting for as long as they can deal with any stragglers. This is a wealth of time for you to lock down.
All right. Strats pay off. They get the late flip there on towards the P3, get the flip early here in P4. It is looking lovely. If you're a Durham Lords fan, 20 seconds is the gap. Sundown winning a gunfight there on the back line, looking to solidify something, but it's Z. Able to take down 2 in return. J-Bands looking for the trade on through, as well as getting the kills. Oh, baby, J-Bands going big when it's needed, but it's not going to be enough to hold on towards the objective. But with 6 seconds left to grab for it, it is a P1 reset for a third time around. We go.
All right, 35 on the clock here before they get the dub, before Nichols close out this game. They've locked those back spawns down. This is so difficult. Every single player on Nichols is watching something of value. One rogue spawn comes in the back line, though, and that could ruin this entire play for Nichols.
Conde. Oh, Conde finessing him. What are we seeing? Okay, finally Maddox able to shut him down, but the damage has been done. J-Ban's off the respawn, trying to take up the map. Is going to be able to find one, but it's a feed that's lighting up big time for Bread. And this could be everything here for Durham Lords. Will they be able to maintain the rest of this 20 seconds? Hellstorm's coming through. Oh, can't get the second. What are we seeing?
Hold on. Yeah, as he's going to hold on here, that means that we are going to go back towards P1, and it should be Durham Lords that touch third. They've got to get the setup. They can give it the last 5 seconds. That's fine. Actually, no, one goes in towards the scrap times. That's going to weaken things ever so slightly here. Because a 4 versus 3 in favor of Nichols towards Noob, but they're going to have to touch, and they're going through dubs to do it.
All hands on deck. This is the last hit. Pyros gonna be able to get some shots in. Not able to get the kill. Conde contest on through. Only 8 seconds needed if you are Nichols. Big kill there for Conde. Bread getting shut down. J-Bands enters the equation. Will it be enough? The answer is no, chat. We end it here. 250 reached. Durham. That's not correct.
Yeah, it's Nichols that won.
Nichols that one. Okay, there we go. Nichols gets the job done in the 3-1 fashion. Man, I'm just all over the place there.
Hey, listen, the team names have flipped the entire game. I knew it was happening. I knew that it was going to trip one of us up, and, you know, that's just how Codcaster goes.
Fresh
sometimes.
fish, baby.
For sure. What a close game, though. You know, shout out to Durham Lords, because they definitely made that one a lot more closer than Nichols. And, of course, they went up by an insurmountable lead to the point where we could be like, hey, they shouldn't have lost that game, like they shouldn't have lost back in map number 1. Either way, beautifully done for Nichols. I think especially towards the back half of that game, they maintain a lead from P3. You can see that 30-point advantage or so, and they never really let that lead go. You know, big plays I think towards the end of the game. A shout out to Conde, who played his life pretty much to perfection. I'm watching it back right now in the Twitch feed, and just to see Conde kind of wall jump his way through, waste enough time that the rest of his team could make their way to the hard point in time to make sure that Durham didn't get said time. I think just small plays like that really split the difference there for Nichols in that game.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Take a look at it from this perspective. As long as you're able to, you know, chip away at, you know, at some of those objectives, either if you get there early for the rotations or if you're getting there early for the breaks, obviously you're going to be able to continue to go on in cruise control mode. It's 242, 205 as we got to that reset. Only 8 seconds needed. Of course, Nichols were going to get the job done. They weren't going to sell a bag. 3-1 victory as they go up in the standings 5-2, which should put them in the top half of their bracket. So it's looking pretty solid for them.
Yeah, shout out to Nichols. We didn't really know what to expect of them in 2026. Of course, as we stated already, 2025 was a year that they wanted to improve on after they got top 16 last year, finishing out the first stage of competition at a 5-2 record is going to do very nicely, and big reasons for that. Condi at 41-20, the hardpoint king, and Drafty, not quite the 50 bomb that they had back on Colossus, but still 34-24 is impressive. And I think both of those players just had so many moments throughout this series where I think it becomes pretty obvious that if we're talking about at least both of these players as the new additions, right? We know that Sundown and Pyros played on Nichols back in 2025. They have got massive, massive upgrades. I don't know what the majors are for Drafty and Condi over at Nichols College, Bison, but these guys, you better be glad that they're a part of this team.
Absolutely. I'd love to say that I was colorblind and, you know, maybe the green was throwing me off for the ending of that match, but I'm just playing stupid. Obviously, 250-216, big ending there for Nichols. If you go back and if you're a Durham Lords fan, you do a little bit of bravado for them, or if you're part of the squad and you're looking back on this and you're looking at that hard point where it started out, you know, maybe we turn things around on the Colossus, or we don't get too overzealous in the opener, but definitely got to make some adjustments on the score overlook. If it's going to continue to be into the you know, your map pool selection, there's got to be some differences that come out, and there's got to be some changes that are made off the rip. You got the quote unquote better side of the map off. To start it off, you've got to be able to find a way to capitalize on it.
Yeah, for sure. Listen, that map number 1 is going to hurt Durham Lords for sure. That number 2, it will definitely hurt, but maybe not to the same extent. I think, again, this Scar overload is something that Nichols, or Durham, excuse me, are going to have to revisit moving forward, because it's the second time in consecutive weeks now where they've allowed it on broadcast into the map set, and it has not gone well for them. And I think this one is less egregious than last week, because last week I think it can be undoubtable that, you know, Durham did not play that map well. Like, they played it really badly, and they lost because of it. This time around, I think just slight adjustments to the game plan, something they'll be able to watch back in the VOD and be like, all right, cool, this is where we went wrong. We cannot do that again moving forward. But yeah, that map number 1, that stings for Durham for sure. But Nichols, they fought tooth and nail for the dub in this series, and arguably it should have been a 3-0 were it not for that round 11 error from Sundown. But man, what a performance, what a debut for the broadcast out of Nichols. I cannot wait to see more of this roster verdict.
No, you're absolutely right. I can't wait to see more of CCL too. I know this is my, you know, just like them, they're making their debut. I feel like they knocked it out of the park. I'm still trying to get my feet about me, and obviously we, you know, as we progress, we get better, and we have a little bit more confidence, just like the reps that they just put in. Obviously, you start off with a map 1 like that, you get that, you know, momentum rolling early. You don't quite get the comeback there in the search and destroy to happen, but you finish the series off on the hardpoint map number 4. Solid debut for Nichols College Bison. Looking forward to seeing what they can produce here in the later portions of this season.
Alrighty, well that's going to do it for the first match of tonight, folks, as Nichols take on Durham. They take the dub. I'm going to go catch some Z's because it's at 2 a.m. over here in the UK. We're going to switch in some new talent as Seymour and Zep take you through the North Dakota Fighting Hawks and Purdue Boilermakers. We'll see you for that after this break.